want it to be that narrow. So I went ahead and made it so that it would be flat, dead nuts on 155, and it gives me about a 1 point, well, let's see here. I don't have that computer on right now. Anyway, it'll give me about a 1.3, or 1.3 something on 28, and a 1.2 on 6, and 1.0 on 155. So it's pretty wide. Right now, as this 3-element beam is, it's optimized for channel 6. And it's flat match on 6, and when I go up to 28, it's like a 1.4 or 1.5 to 1. Maybe a little bit worse, 1.6 or so. So it's really not optimum for this frequency, and it's the most off I've ever been on the antenna from the operating frequency, tune frequency, and operating frequency differences. So the new antenna will be right in the middle of the road, but it allows me to go equally pretty well between 6 and 28 without having any degradation in performance nearly as great as what I'm getting now. Not that what I'm getting now is bad. I mean, this little 3-element beam still hammers. But anyway, it's all going to work. The one thing that I want to figure out how to do, and I haven't figured out how to do this yet, I'm looking to see if somebody can enlighten me. Not the sharpest tack in the box, but there's got to be some way to use the MFJ meter to look, and I don't use gamma matches and I don't use grounded driven elements, but a lot of people do. And what makes or breaks an antenna is its resonance. You can tune a shopping cart with the gamma match. So guys can build a 7-element or an 8-element or a 3-element or whatever, and they can build it to a spec, say Mako specs or whatever. But they can misread the tape or they can goof things up, and the antenna is technically goofed up. But you can put a gamma match on there, and you can fix it with a gamma match and make it look like 15 ohms plus or minus J0. Well, just because the antenna's feed point is 15 ohms plus or minus J0 doesn't mean the antenna is resonant at the frequency that you think it is. And so there's got to be a way to use the MFJ meter with a grounded driven element before you put the gamma match on, to make sure that the impedance of the element or the impedance of that antenna is, for example, 22 ohms at, X of 0, hopefully. And I'm not sure how you check that, because I'm not sure exactly how you couple the MFJ to the antenna without a matching network. I'm just not sure how that works. Do you put the ground of the MFJ right on the boom, and do you put the center connector right on the element, literally an inch from the boom? Which is going to be because the antenna's there, it's going to have some sort of impedance, and maybe that's how you take the measurement. I just don't know. But all I know is for those of the people out there who build antennas with grounded driven elements and gamma matches, the key is to make sure that the elements are all tuned and that the antenna is set up as it is with whatever impedance it is, but that the X factor, the X0, the fictitious J0 plus or minus J0, the reactance is 0. That's the key. Oh, I apologize for being so doggone long-winded to break.
44 1/4, 44.25, right back. Hey, 44 1/4, appreciate the comeback, no doubt about it. 317 Cal getting on down. How are you?
Hello out there, 351, if you got a copy of Bean, southwest corner.
Yeah, game. You can't measure that with an MFJ, but you certainly can have an antenna that looks strong on a gamma. You can have it look perfectly 50 ohms plus or minus J0, R of 50, X of 0. And you take that gamma match off, and if you looked at it without the matching network, yeah, you'd be surprised to see that the resonance of the entire contraption probably may not be anywhere near what you thought it was. But you're right, changing the spacing and the element lengths and all that, it all works together. And everything that you do, once you look at the impedance of the antenna, the resonance of the antenna, there's still things that come into play. Different combinations will give you proper impedances. That's all great. But did you sacrifice bandwidth? Did you sacrifice gain? Did you sacrifice front to back ratio? How did you optimize the antenna? Did you optimize it for front to back? Did you optimize it for gain? Did you optimize it for bandwidth? You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't have all three. Anytime you optimize for front to back, you're going to lose gain. Anytime you optimize for gain, you're going to lose front to back. Anytime you optimize for gain, you're going to lose bandwidth. So, yeah, it's hard to build everything all in one box. But, yeah, it's a tricky juggling act. Nobody can really say what antenna is better than another because every antenna may thrive in a different. Maybe Joe Snow's antenna has less gain than the other guy, but maybe the other guy's antenna has a better front to back, and his location with his neighbors and his interference issues, maybe front to back is more important, or maybe a really tight back lobe, or a tight side lobe, or a tight tertiary lobe, whatever is going to be required to optimize the antenna for his location. Optimized, everybody always seems to think optimized means power, gain, ERP, something like that, but there are so many ways to optimize an antenna. So yeah, it's hard to say whose antenna is better than whose. I try to stay out of that whole thing because, there are probably pros and cons to my antenna that are different pros and cons to a Joe gun, and so maybe the Joe gun in some cases might outperform mine, depending upon what you're looking at. A different person's perspective, or where they live, and what their neighbor situation's like, or there's a lot going on there. So it's hard to just make it a statement as to whose antenna's better. And I've seen people build Makos that work really good, and I've seen people that build Makos. I said, oh, it's going to suck. So it boils down to the ability of somebody to figure out, how to accurately look at things. Lots of things come into play, that's for sure. Anyway, it's been a whole lot of fun, good conversation, and I'm going to get back on the side. And don't mean to have this key down for 4 or 5 minutes at a time to break. This antenna gets too doggone warm.
I just meant talking to him.